Greetings, students. Dr. Whaler here with a Week 2 overview. Week 2 focuses on study skills. So let's briefly refresh ourselves on what happened last week. We talked a lot about faculty, peer, and work expectations in a college setting. This week, we're going to dive in deeply and apply those expectations to building and improving our study skills. We'll talk about how do you review materials? How do you manage that time? And of course, how do you manage all of those expectations we talked about last week? Specifically, we'll be going over skills related to note-taking, reading, and testing. We'll talk about how you annotate a text. What are the expectations for taking notes in class? What are some of the expectations when you have a reading assignment? What do you need to do to fully prepare that assignment for class discussion? And then testing. How many hours should you be studying a week for a test? What does that study time look like? For this week, we're going to be looking at some big picture stuff. So we're going to be engaging our course learning outcomes, specifically critical thinking, problem solving, and soft skills. Under critical thinking, we'll do a lot of conversation about study skills we already possess and study skills we may need to acquire. We'll do a lot of reflection this week. Next, we'll talk about problem solving. We talked a little last week about expectations, but we also talked about campus resources. So we'll connect our campus resources to problem solving when it comes to studying, and we'll also talk about the support systems. Yes, those people all have expectations of us, but they also can work to support us. And then lastly, we'll talk about soft skills, particularly communication. How can you communicate when you don't know something? And of course, we'll talk a little bit about the time management skills you possess. Finally, I want to just remind us that the campus resources for this week that you may want to use include the library, tutoring center, and your peer mentor. They are here for you to support you this week and every week. Finally, I'd like us to talk a little bit about this week. I want you to choose one skill from each of our areas, note-taking, reading, and testing, to apply this week. So focus in on one particular skill and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, drop it, try something new next week. As always, I just want to remind you to check out my faculty course profile page where you can find my email, my phone, my office hours, and a link to my virtual office. I'll talk to you guys soon.